I should be standing for you, and I am standing for you here. First, I want to just share a few thoughts with you. Then I've got some remarks, and then I'll take any questions that you might have. And I know that you are going to have a dinner and a meeting tonight, and I don't want to get too far into it for you. But first, I believe this is my initial engagement, my initial talk to any group since last Tuesday night. I've been at a number of different events, but I certainly haven't had an opportunity to speak to anyone at length. Secondly, it's very, very fitting that it's a Lions Club. I know the tremendous work that you do in the community. You are doing everything that I've been trying to encourage people to do, which is step forward, help your friends, neighbors, your fellow citizens in any type of endeavor that you can. I know you do great benevolent work, charitable work with children as well as with our entire community, and I appreciate it very, very much. I can tell you that I need citizens stepping forward like all of you do each day in our city. That's the only way that New Bedford, and quite frankly every urban area in the United States, is going to turn around and become vibrant again, is by people being involved in community participation. So that was why I was very, very excited when Reed Arsenault asked if I was able to speak. I was very enthusiastic about coming here tonight. Now, here's what I'd like to talk to you about just in brief. I'd like to give you a quick overview of what I've tried to do, what we are going to try to do this second term, and then if I could answer any questions. The first thing that all of you know is that if you asked me 2.5 years ago would I be here tonight before the Lions Club, I would have thought it would have been as an attorney, perhaps discussing some specific issue that you had in mind, or perhaps as a guest of one of the members, but certainly not as the mayor of New Bedford. I never thought that I'd be running for political office. But just as you have been involved in community activities, and I was involved in my own way, it became very clear to me that people have to begin to step forward and take a stand on some very, very important issues. And in 2005, I was presented with an opportunity to speak my piece, and that's really all it came down to, was to step forward and say I'd like to be able to have people engaged in a debate during this election campaign regarding a number of major issues that I thought were affecting our city and our area. And if they were not brought into some sort of focus and then hopefully solutions begin to be found for them, it would make it extremely unlivable in the cities of not only New Bedford but Massachusetts as well as America. And the first one was public safety. It was very, very clear to me that there is a major public safety problem not only in Massachusetts but around the country, and that it has to be addressed very, very quickly, and it has to be addressed in a very dramatic, expeditious manner. And the reason I say that is because you can't pick up the newspaper today and not see whether it's the Standard Times or the Globe or the New York Times, or if it happens to be the Chicago Tribune, everyone gets the point, or the LA Times, wherever it might be, the Miami Herald. You cannot turn the page of a newspaper and not see that cities are being inundated with crime, and in many cases violent crime. There are many, many reasons for it, and we can't, we don't have the time tonight to list them, but obviously it's a situation where many of our youth feel disaffected and are turning to the streets and turning to the corners in order to make a living, make a statement, or feel that they belong. And it's in the form of gangs as well as it's in the form of criminal element that are involved plaguing our society. So the first thing I thought that was very important was New Bedford's got to start focusing on this problem. You can't simply say it wasn't my neighborhood. If it affects one neighborhood, it affects this entire city. It affects the city, it affects the entire region. Second thing that was very important was that we need vigorous police work, but then we need vigorous prosecution. Now, I was an ADA for 12 years, and I felt that police working together with the ADAs, with the district attorney, with the U.S. attorney, with the AG, with the attorney general, would make a difference. If you apprehend someone, you bring him to justice, he or she ends up being sentenced to an appropriate prison sentence. It eliminates someone, perhaps it creates a deterrent, but it allows people to understand that crime does have consequences, that you can't go out there on the street, do whatever you think you want to do, and then not expect to have to pay a price with society. So my first tenet when I ran was we have to have a safe city. You absolutely have to have a city that people can grow in, grow their jobs in, grow their families in. Second thing was that neighborhood revitalization has to take place. You cannot, you're defined by your worst neighborhoods, you're defined by the worst houses in your neighborhood. And that's something that we needed to take some real attention to. You couldn't just be involved with downtown, you had to be involved with everybody's neighborhood. Next thing was education. Our educational system, I felt, used to be one of the best. It could be one of the best again. You have to have, first of all, I don't believe that that it's just a New Bedford problem. I believe that the dropout problem is a U.S. problem, and I think if you look at the statistics, it's very clear that it is. In the United States of America, a third of the kids are dropping out of school. Not in New Bedford, the United States of America. New Bedford also has that same problem as other urban areas do, but in urban areas, 40 to 50% of the kids are dropping out. So it is something that has to be reformed countrywide. The other thing is that I believe that our educational system is one right now, unfortunately in Massachusetts, that is designed to teach kids according to a test. And that's in the public schools, and that's called this MCAS test. And it is absolutely a blight on being able to teach kids a full education from 1492 to math, science, English, to foreign languages, arts, music, whatever it might be. Instead, you're being given out basically review sheets for something that is designed to teach you how to pass a test. It's very, very narrow, it's not right, and it is fueling the dropout rate, and it's adding to the dropout rate. And when I say that, what I mean is, since I've been mayor, I have had to give approximately 70 kids now something called a certificate of attendance or a certificate of accomplishment, which is something that is less than a high school diploma, even though they've done their 13 years, even though they passed everything, but they didn't pass either one or both parts of the MCAS, either English or math, and for that reason they don't get a high school diploma. Now what I did was just add another dropout to the dropout rate, number one. Number two, I just added someone that we are all going to have to take care of. And number three, I just added someone who's just like all of us. Because I'm quite sure no one in this room ever passed the MCAS, and I think you've all done very, very well. And I think no one in this room has passed the MCAS back when we were in high school, and I can almost guarantee you that I can't pass it now. Now I graduated, by luck of draw, I graduated from Marquette and I graduated from Georgetown. Does that mean if I don't pass the MCAS now, I write them a letter apologizing and send them back my degrees? And that basically is what, what I've confronted with the Department of Education when they tell me without the MCAS test, we can't verify that you should graduate from high school. And it's just plain silly when the kids at Stang don't even know how to spell the MCAS, and the kids out at Tabor or whatever it might be, private schools don't either. And they're getting their 13 years in, getting a degree and going on. We know the high school diploma only provides you an opportunity. It's no guarantee, it's an opportunity. And I want all the kids who stick in school, who don't drop out, who are students, to get that opportunity. So I know there's a heck of a lot more work to do in education, but I felt that education, again, needed to be improved in our city. And